After this, I will state whether or not I agree with the margin of victory. I will do the best I can to explain why I agree or disagree with the pros. These picks I will stand by when I make them. If I'm right, that's totally great. If I'm not, I'm okay with that. The picks I make are strictly by my own opinion. This will come on what knowledge I have of said teams. Most of these games, regardless of what pros say, either team is talented enough to win. Hopefully, I will do well with these picks. Even though I will stand by my picks, I do welcome your comments on each and every one of the games that we cover within the NFL. None of the NFL teams are ranked, and most likely won't be at all this season. They do rankings which are called power rankings, but that's not really important because there are other certain rules that teams have to go by to get to playoffs, which we're not going to get into that. We're just going to do it based on who's playing who in the game for the week in question. Since we are doing it this way, we are doing this starting on week 2 of the NFL football schedule, and it will be and the games that are played go on a weekly basis from Thursday through Wednesday. Today, we will focus on the time period between September 11th and 17th of 2024. Thursday, September 12th, Buffalo Bills will be playing the Miami Dolphins. The pros favor Miami to beat Buffalo by 1.5 or 2 points. The over-under is 49.5 or 50 points. I think this will be a close game, but I disagree on who wins and also on the margin of victory. Buffalo is doing better in recent years where Miami has struggled. My thoughts, Buffalo is going to win the game by 3. I'll go over the 50 points total. The next 14 games that I will be covering will take place on Sunday, September 15th, 2024. So with that, let's get into this, shall we? New Orleans versus Dallas. Dallas is favored to win by the pros over New Orleans by 6.5 or 7 points. The over-under is 45.5 or 46. New Orleans is known for putting points on the board quickly. Dallas is known for playing with fire and making risky moves, most of which do not pay off. Some do, but most do not. I'm going to disagree with the pros by saying New Orleans wins by 9 points. I will go over the 46. Yeah. Tampa Bay versus Detroit. The pros favor Detroit to win by 7 over Tampa Bay. The over-under is 50.5 or 51. Detroit has had a couple of successful seasons recently. Tampa Bay usually has playoff contention record and off the way being generally mediocre, but only because of how tough the division is they play in. Tampa Bay in this matchup reminds me of Bowser, who kidnapped Princess Toadstool, otherwise now known as Peach. Detroit is Mario, doing everything he can to defeat Bowser and save the princess. This game looks to be chaotic like the Super Mario Brothers video game. Detroit, who is Mario, will save the princess by defeating Tampa Bay. I agree with the pros in that Detroit wins by 7. I will also go under the 51. Indianapolis versus Green Bay. The pros favor Indianapolis to beat Green Bay by 3.5 or 4 points. The over-under is 40.5 or 41 points. Since this game is being played at Green Bay, it is usually hard for Indianapolis to win at Lambeau Field, where it's the home of Green Bay. On that home field advantage thing, I disagree with the pros on this one on who wins and the margin of victory. Green Bay wins by 3. I will go over the 41. Yes, I do love sports. Very much so, the reposter. I love sports with, a lot. I go into sports a lot of details, and I do appreciate the fact that you recognize the love for sports. Thank you again, the reposter. It is greatly appreciated, and I appreciate you for watching. All right, next is the New York Jets versus Tennessee. The pros favor the New York Jets to beat Tennessee by 4 points. The fiasco continues with Aaron Rodgers from the New York Jets. Is he going to play? Is he healthy enough to play? Should he just retire already? stay healthy and consistent, he will do okay. But if not, then who is going to be next man up? The Jets look awful right now, regardless of who's playing the quarterback position. Tennessee isn't immune to struggling either. They too have seen their share of struggles. The pros favor the New York Jets to win by 4. Even though I mentioned the Aaron Rodgers fiasco, despite that, I feel they will pull through and win. I agree with the pros in their idea of the New York Jets winning by 4. The over-under is 42.5 or 43 for total points between both teams that scored. I'm going to go under the 43. San Francisco versus Minnesota is the next game. The pros favor San Francisco to win the game by 5 over Minnesota. The over-under is 44.5 or 45 points. Both teams so far look decent. I do think San Francisco has the better talent. It will be a close game. I do agree with the pros in San Francisco winning by 5 points, and I'm going under the 45 points. Next game to make a pick for is Seattle versus New England. The pros favor Seattle to beat New England by 3.5 or 4 points. The over-under is 38.5 or 39 points. New England has not done well since the days of Tom Brady as quarterback. New England needs to find a way to get the fire back. I think the mojo for New England will not be there. This game, Seattle right now is the better team. Because of these things, I agree Seattle will win the game, but I disagree on the margin of victory. So I'm going to call it that Seattle is going to win the game by 6. I will go over the 39. The next game that we'll look at is the New York Giants versus Washington. The pros favor Washington to win the game by 2.5 or 3 points. The over-under is 43.5 or 44 points. Both teams are coming off losses in week 1. This match will be close due to the fact that both teams can play good defense when they want to. Will they do that in this game? Probably. But to me, from what I have seen so far, the defense for both is flat and the offense is just plain bad. I agree with the pros. Washington wins by 3. I will go under the 44 points. The next game I'm going to look at is the Los Angeles Chargers versus Carolina. The pros favor Los Angeles Chargers to win by 6.5 or 7 points. The Chargers look better on paper to win over Carolina. Carolina lost big to New Orleans last week. Carolina is in losing rut. They have been for the last several years. This losing rut will continue in this game. I agree with pros on fact the Los Angeles Chargers will win the game, but I disagree on the margin of victory. I believe the margin of victory will actually be higher than what the pros state. So I'm going to say in this game, the Los Angeles Chargers will win the game by 14. I see the over-under is 39.5 or 40, and I'll go over the 40. The next game that I'll be looking at in the NFL today has Cleveland playing Jacksonville. In this game, the pros favor Jacksonville to win by 3.5 or 4 points over Cleveland. Generally, both teams are in the bottom part of league standings for games won and games lost, with most of the games ending in losing. The only redeeming grace right now for Jacksonville is their quarterback, who, despite losing a lot, has youthful energy and unique ways to drive the football up the field. Cleveland is usually that annoying gnat that won't go away. I agree with pros on this one. Jacksonville wins by 4. I hope this is a good call. The over-under is 41.5 or 42. I'll go over the 42. Next game I'm going to look at is Las Vegas versus Baltimore. The pros favor Baltimore to win by 9.5 or 10 points over Las Vegas. The over-under is 41.5 or 42 points. Baltimore is the better team in this game over Las Vegas. Las Vegas is like the ghost in the Pac-Man video game. They get eaten by Pac-Man but never totally go away. They come back with more vengeance and get tougher to beat as time goes on. Pac-Man in the end always wins. In this case, Baltimore is Pac-Man. I agree with the pros. Baltimore wins by 10, and I will go over the 42. I'm going to look at today is Los Angeles versus Arizona. It's been a while since I've seen matchup potential such as this. Both of these teams are like a water main break regarding the disaster their offenses play. This kind of offense on both sides is a flood disaster of epic proportions. The defense is like a leaky tire that eventually goes flat in a slow leak. I'm guessing the pros have noticed this too because they favor Arizona to win by one. The over-under is 49.5 or 50. Outside of my previous thoughts of this game, maybe Arizona can use fix-a-flat to get the slow leak to stop long enough to win the game. I agree with the pros. Arizona wins by one, and I will go under the 56. Next game we'll look at is Pittsburgh versus Denver. The pros favor Pittsburgh to win by 3 points over Denver. Pittsburgh has been playing decent lately. Denver has struggled. I guess the lack of oxygen for it being a mile-high city gets to the best of them sometimes. I could be wrong. I think since Denver is used to that, they should have that more often. Uh, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh would love to will lose to Denver for that reason. Pittsburgh can't stand the lack of oxygen, and Denver normally can handle it better. I disagree with the pros on Pittsburgh winning the game. I think due to Denver having the high altitude advantage and knowing how to play in that atmosphere, that's going to have Denver's going to win as a 3-point underdog over Pittsburgh. Both teams are known for not scoring a lot of points when they play each other. Now, when they're not playing each other, they do score a lot of points between the two of them. So, with that, Denver wins by 3. The over-under is 36.5 or 37, and I'm going under the 37. Next game we're going to look at is Cincinnati versus Kansas City. The pros favor Kansas City to beat Cincinnati by 6 points. The over-under is 48.5 or 49 points total. Kansas City has chip on their shoulder, and Cincinnati is still trying to prove they are better than history dictates. With the exception of the last 3 to 5 years, Cincinnati has been downright awful. Both teams currently have great talent on both sides of the ball. Despite this, Kansas City is more experienced and patient in the way they play. This experience and patience will drive Kansas City to get the W for victory. I agree with the pros that Kansas City wins the game. I'm not sure it will be by 6 points as pro states because I feel it will be a closer game. Kansas City wins the game by 3. I will go over the 49. Next game we're going to look at today is Houston versus Chicago. The pros favor Houston to beat Chicago with a 6.5 or 7-point margin of victory. The over-under is 45.5 or 46 points. Historically, the Chicago team has been the better team over Houston. The exception has been over the last few years where they downright suck because of terrible offense and defense that can't hold on to the ball. I think Chicago is getting better in those games, but Houston is better due to better ball control. I'm not knocking Chicago, but how terrible they have played over the last few years, there's no easy way to call it better than how I previously mentioned it because it's hard to see a former team of glory to somehow play football so bad. I think this year is a hopeful one for Chicago, but it will not happen with this game. I agree with the pros that Houston beats Chicago by 7 points. The only reason I think it will not be more than that is Chicago has unique ways sometimes of doing weird and wild things late in the game to keep games interesting, but only when they are consistent in play. If they don't, then this game could be a runaway for Houston quick. Despite this, I will still stand by my original prediction. I will go under the 46 total points. The last NFL game we will look at is Atlanta versus Philadelphia regarding the 14 the 14 games that I mentioned that were being played on Sunday. Actually, no. This is the last game we're going to look at. Atlanta versus Philadelphia. And this is the Monday Night Football game, which everyone loves to watch. This game will be played September 16th, 2024. Philadelphia is favored to beat Atlanta by 6.5 or 7 points. The over-under is 47.5 or 48. There isn't much to say on this game since it's still early in the season. Philadelphia has loaded talent on offense, and the same can be said with Atlanta on defense. I think this game will come down to who has the ball at the end of the game. Philadelphia plays with control and finesse and do have secret play by using the tush push to their advantage. Atlanta is better at stopping teams from scoring with goal line stands. Since Philadelphia has the secret weapon, as I mentioned, I will agree with the pros with Philadelphia winning by 7. I will go over the 48. So that's your NFL picks and how I feel they will go this week. So let's recap the schedule for week 2, which starts September 12th and goes through September 16th. The NFL games that will be played this week are as follows: Buffalo versus Miami, New Orleans versus Dallas, Tampa Bay versus Detroit, Indianapolis versus Green Bay, New York Jets versus Tennessee, San Francisco versus Minnesota, Seattle versus New England, New York Giants versus Washington, Los Angeles Chargers versus Carolina, Cleveland versus Jacksonville, Las Vegas versus Baltimore, Los Angeles Rams versus Arizona, Pittsburgh versus Denver, Cincinnati versus Kansas City, Chicago versus Houston, and Atlanta versus Philadelphia. Those are your NFL games that are scheduled for week 2. In most of the games that I covered, it seemed like the pros had everything spot on or very close to spot on regarding the margin of victory these teams will have. What are your thoughts? I'd like to see your thoughts in the chat regarding my picks for NFL for this week. I'd like to see your thoughts and maybe answer some questions if you happen to have any. No questions? Alrighty. Well, thank you for taking the time today to hear my NFL picks for week 2. Again, it will be a weekly live stream that I will do involving the NFL football games that are scheduled for each week. And they will be done regularly through week 18 of the NFL football season. Thank you again very much for tuning in to Sports Live Media on this live broadcast from the Veterans Memorial Park in Huntsville, Alabama. If you will, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the notification bell so you can be made aware of when I'm doing these live broadcasts regarding NFL sports or other live broadcasts, when I have special breaking news, when I do sports education videos, when I have sports action videos, when I broadcast live, as I mentioned again, and when I have breaking news in the sports world. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day.